pressure armbar and working through. So I've been taught many different ways on how to get the arms pushed above the head, but I find that if you work both the arms over the head, there's a transition period where you take away a lot of control in order to gain it. And so what I've more commonly been taught is getting the arms to here, pushing down, putting pressure through, and then you have to transition to get into the position. And I find that when this is being done to me, I have to wait for that point of where you go from here to pull in to then get into the position. That's where I escape the most. So over time, I've worked through doing a bit of research, I've worked towards getting one arm up, create the pressure, get into the position, then focus on the other arm, then finish the arm bar. So we're going to start with a shoulder control and then work one arm up into a head and arm triangle position and then capitalize on keeping that arm trapped. So what I'm doing is I'm getting into this head and arm position. My left arm, the one controlling the head, goes to the armpit and I go across with it. At any point I'm compromising my base, which I am doing with my left arm, even though it's giving me control, it's still compromising my base in that direction. So I need to make sure I alter his spine in order to make him weak. From here, this is the arm now that I'm going to be working to drive up. And if I get this underhook in this position and he puts pressure down to stop me, it's not as simple as always just being able to do this, walking the hand up, especially if they've got a good grip. Okay, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to get as much tension as possible, and then I'm going to extend my arm and then drop it the moment I've extended it. So I extend, then drop. Put a bit of pressure, Greg. Extend, drop. And I only gain a few inches each time, but it's making him weaker and weaker. And if I feel he puts a lot of energy into it, I just rest. And then I wait for that exertion to go, then I extend again and drop. And now it's gone beyond him being powerful at all, okay? If I really want to put pressure through it, I can alternate my body and turn my hips into it to really drive into it, okay? So from here, then I can go back towards mine. Up, up, up. And then pass it over. Notice how I didn't relinquish the control in order to get my head round to the side of his elbow / tricep. So I shrug, drop down, and I get to this position. And now my head is doing what my bicep was doing before. Okay, so Greg tries to get his arm free now. And if he had slightly more flexible shoulders, he'd be able to drop his arm down and go around it as well, right?
Yeah, no.
And I have to follow that if he does. I have to keep it. Okay? Right, the next step is, in order to armbar him, I need to get my hips behind his armpit, behind his shoulder. So I base out and I shoot my knee really far up. So now my chest and my thigh are blocking his tricep. Okay? The focus here is just this arm initially. Now I'm going to switch arms because all my base is going through my right arm at the minute. So I lean forward, switch, come out. From here, I'm now going to collect to the other arm because this is what's going to stop me. So I go under the other arm and bring it in. From here, I lean this way and put all my weight through my left thigh. First I move my foot up and then lean forwards, and I'm going to create this wedge between my thigh, my toes, and his head. So I lean forwards, lift, and create a wedge. And it's so uncomfortable from here. Okay? Then I can start collecting the arm, going in for the arm bar, tricep, or back. Okay? But I don't need to move from this point here. I can just extend. Okay? You okay?
Sure.
Where's the little lady? She's there. Aren't you glad that you volunteered? Okay. So we've gone into the shoulder pressure position. I'm aiming for his armpit as I get here, applying a bit of pressure. And again, I'm making sure that I'm slightly off center. I don't want to be here because if he does a big bridge, I get okay. So I'm in, off that line. From here, his arms down a little bit. If his arm's up there, it's easy. I can just push it because of how weak he's making himself. But if it's a little bit further down, I've got under, he's stronger here. So I get to the tension, extend, and I'm using my whole body here, not just my arm. Extend and drop. And again, extend and drop, and until I get to a point where I can catch it with my head. Base out, and I shoot my knee up nice and high. See how it's in line or past his head? I then switch, look up in the back of his head, take my arm out, collect this, and now my other foot comes through. And you see how I'm not going basing on my foot, I'm basically looking at the sole of my feet. I then lean, lift, and collect. And then I just take the arm. It's incredibly uncomfortable. If you're not wanting to tap from the pressure, call me over and I'll tidy it up. They want to tap pretty soon from that, okay? And it's the difference between this, which isn't that uncomfortable, is it, Greg?
No, it's alright.
That. Okay? That's what it wants to be like. And it's just folding his ribcage in half. Any questions? No? Have a go, everyone.